WIIFTV PM. WIIFTV PM.
AM 1570 WBGX Harvey, Chicago. WIIFTV PM. WIIFTV PM.
What's in it for the black people? What's in it? What's in it for the black people? I'm in it. What's in it for the black people? What's in it? What's in it for the black people? I'm in it. For the black people. 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 For the black people, for the black people. What's in it for the black people? Let's hear it. What's in it for the black people? Don't fear it. What's in it for the black people? Let's hear it. What's in it for the black people? Don't fear it. For the black people, for the black people. For the black people, 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 for the black people. What's in it for the black people? You know it. What's in it for the black people? Let's show it. What's in it for the black people? You know it. What's in it for the black people? Let's show it. For the black people. 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 For the black people.
AM 1570 WBGX Harvey, Chicago. Maze Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like May said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. I'd be done had a heart
You
attack.
gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, that not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah?
I don't like that one.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
About National Join a Positive Black Organization Day, because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
Chicago Famous. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You ever have one of those moments in Comic View that was just something you were like, wow, I can't believe that just unfolded like that?
Deion Cole will tell you, when he did his first Def Jam, he said he only had 15 minutes of material, but it was so impactful that they booked him, and now he's on the Def Jam tour with the 15 minutes, and he did 7 of them already on Def Jam. So now you got to create build an act. A new production company came in, and they decided, no, if they come out here and they bomb, show it, and put crickets.
Oh yeah,
they started putting little crickets and sound effects, and that didn't work. They would overdo it too. This was funny too. This is another behind the scenes comedy. Those laugh when you see people buckling over and laughing. That might not even be your audience.
They edited that from another.
Dude, you'll look and see this lady in all the episodes. You're like, she must be a paid audience member. How is that lady laughing at everybody's show? I used to do a job like one time. I saw me laughing at me on Comedy. I'm like, how did I get in the audience on my own special? What are they doing?
Oh man. David Williams.
Those are the days, man.
Man, thank you for stopping by Chicago Famous.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
What's in it for the black people? Cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to last, can't doze no more. I told y'all this, that dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies of the politicians. We need money, no symbolism. It's Maze and Sonia and Ruthie and Todd explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we're united, our movement gon' start. They ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressor to solve us.
What's in it for the black people? All the lies we didn't heard before. Time to pay attention, you gotta do more than listen. Need some action with it on the count of 3. Let's go.
Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. Wake up, Todd. We had a late night last night. So I'm going to tell you, you know what? Todd might still be trying to catch up from
He
what...
deserves it. He lasted longer than I thought, Mr. President.
You know what? Todd did his thing last night. I can't even give him no hard time. He did his thing, hung out with the big guys last night. You know what? Todd reminds me of that video. The video of the kid, the little baby that keeps falling asleep. You know, it's that, that's just like, and it's like, no, it's just a little black baby, and it's like,
oh yeah.
and she falls asleep and she wakes up and she falls asleep and she wakes up. I think Democrats woke up this morning feeling like they might have gone to sleep in the midst of a nightmare. I think that we are, well, first of all, let me start by saying, that's what's happening. Let me start by saying that they are, things didn't go the way that everybody anticipated last night, I don't think. I think people woke up. I think we had Joe Walsh on here yesterday talking about that that President Trump was going to get swept. Looks like he might be swept back into office. Right now, the vote total, the Electoral College is 238 to 213. Looks like Wisconsin is Joe Biden leads by 0.3 of a point in Wisconsin right now. Which would give him 10, which would put him at 248. It looks like everything is going to hinge on Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania,
where they anticipate approximately 2 million votes are out still. So if 2 million votes are out still, but they say that President Trump is leading currently by what is it? He leads by 13 points out there. Georgia is still out. We have not seen Georgia come in. Georgia, they are saying it is they're 95% of the votes. It leads down to 90. What is it? 95% of the votes are in. Yeah, anyway, let me just say that I do not think that people thought that they were going to wake up and it was going to do that. You're pulling that camera when you do that. It's all good. I done slid all the way to the left, so I'm going to do like this.
My bad. Well, like
it's all good.
Sleep. Come on, Ruthie.
But you know what?
Trying to fix a little something.
Nah, you know, I ain't even tripping on you. First of all, let me say how thankful I am, grateful to everyone who tuned in with us last night. We had over 250 live viewers, but we ended up last night with about a little less than 4,000 views. Not that that's what I necessarily measure it by, but I do think that it was pretty awesome. I was saying last night that I was all during this time of the year. Ordinarily, I'd be trying to figure out how can I work at some TV station and get coverage and be part of the election. And it seems like right now I was able to have my own station to do my own election special last night with all of our team. And it was good to work with everybody and mix up the teams. And we had a great lineup. It was pretty cool last night.
No filter,
You know what I'm saying? No filter, but man, we had Sun Times, Tribune, Board of Elections, Fox 32. I mean, we did our thing last night.
I had a lot of fun.
You had fun, Ruthie. You know what? Hold on, Ruthie,
don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not gonna do it. But Ruthie, you had a good time last night? Tell us about the coverage.
So, what I really, really, really enjoyed, I too thought that there was going to be a blue sweep. And so it was nice to be brought back down to reality with y'all. And Maze, you was the first person that did the numbers. And I knew that you were on to something when Todd was quiet. And I was like, Todd, you ain't gonna say nothing? You just gonna let Maze do this math and you ain't gonna say nothing? So then that, after I saw that Todd was kind of like, uh-oh.
Counting.
Yeah, because he was very sure.
Todd, let me tell you, Todd probably had that sick feeling in his stomach knowing that white people having experienced white people whiting. White people gone white.
That's what they do.
Y'all don't want to hear me when I try to tell you these things, but white people are going to white. And so I think they're saying that Georgia's a toss-up. I'm going to tell you, I do not believe that Georgia's a toss-up.
Come on, y'all. It's Georgia.
Okay, so Stacey Abrams. You think they're going to... Let me tell you, places like Georgia, North Carolina, they have a job to do, and by God, they're going to do it.
Okay. All right.
Now, let me tell you what. But before we go further, what I do want to do is shout out to all of the black people who did the work to get Kim Foxx re-elected. You know what, man? I was nervous. I'm not going to even lie. I was definitely nervous.
A little bit.
But super proud of Madam State's Attorney, current and re-elect, State's Attorney re-elect. Is that what we call her? Shout out to State's Attorney Kim Foxx on her resounding victory. Look, we got to talk about all of this stuff. There's a lot more races that I want to get to, but let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's see if we can ring Todd and find out if he's okay, and then we will be right back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out chicagolegalnetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us. Mm-hmm. However, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. I got my co-host, Miss Ruthie Moore. Sonia Escobar is in the building.
I'm loving the comments, guys.
Well, I haven't seen
Some
the
of them
comments.
wanted to ship some air mattresses our way.
You know what? Last night, we ended up the show. What was funny was we ended up the show on a call, an international call from Canada. Some of my Canada political friends.
Shout out Duncan Steve.
The people who run... who used to run the city of Vancouver and that west part of Canada?
I don't know.
Well, I have some clients in Canada. And Carrie, once this thing got to where it was, she was like, you need to start investigating what it takes to move to Canada and get some, try and get us a comparable lifestyle.
I'm on 4 new countries, guys.
So I here's... we're going to talk about this. We got a lot of time to talk about it, so we're going to come back to this. But I am going to tell you. We're waiting on our guy, Todd Stroger. He may not make it. The cat might have been like, hold up. Dog, what you doing? But I'm going to tell you, we had an action-packed night of coverage. And if you missed it last night, you can go back and play it. But we 7 to midnight. Everybody hung. It was great. All right. Judge Kilbride. Guys, I think we have had a referendum on Speaker Michael Madigan this evening quietly. I don't think a lot of people saw this coming, but apparently the Speaker is at a net loss of 2 seats. Did not get the sweep, although he spent almost, I believe, $10.2 million. He wound up losing a total of 2 seats. So Democrats lost 2 seats in the House, apparently. We'll wait for the final count. I got that from Capitol Facts. Shout out to Rich Miller for summarizing some of the coverage because the state house races, we don't see a lot of them in our part of town because they're usually, if you look at the paper, they just said unopposed, which is the sign of dominance. But in that, not only did we see that, we saw Judge Thomas Kilbride, the Supreme Court justice race, that the Republicans see as their way back into some sort of power. Kilbride has cast the deciding vote that in numerous cases that has kept Speaker Madigan in power. And so people used Mike Madigan against him, and he was unseated last night. He conceded. 60% of the vote he needed to be retained. Judge Michael Tuman, the judge that was summarily dismissed by the Democratic Party, looks to have held on to his seat by narrow margin, by 2 points. Now that still could change, but I think our mail-in votes are counted already. So I think it'll be probably hard to close that 2 percentage point gap, but we'll see. But those signal that there are obvious, in spite of the money, there are obvious flaws in being associated with Speaker Mike Madigan. Now, you guys tend to think that I am. I'm going to tell you, I think that the state is in a stranglehold right now. And until we get out of this stranglehold, we're going to be stuck. And so I am just hoping that we can, I think that yesterday when we talked to Kristen McQuarrie, she was a little down. If you think about it, she was like, I just am frustrated with the fact that we keep finding out about this stuff and this guy's going to get more power. Well, it looks like he lost a little bit. And so I think it's going to put a lot more on his mind and Democrats' mind when they go back to Springfield. They may not be able to hide under the shield of money and power. That tag coming around another 2 years if you're circulating petitions. Because remember, Democrats will be circulating petitions again in the fall.
Oh, wow.
Of next year. So if he's still there at that point, everybody will be, the smart guys will run an anti-Madigan campaign. All right. Let's see. What else did we see? What else did we see last night? White. I got to say it one more time. White people going white. How is this close? Like with all of the white women outrage and I want to, to all of those of you who predicted that the turn of white women in the suburbs would make this a sweep beyond unsweepable, I just want to point out white people gone white. And it's like, I'm telling you, I still say white women wasn't giving up their shot to get the first white woman president for Kamala. I think that play. I can't wait to see the demographic breakdown.
You talking about Hillary?
No, Kamala.
Oh, Camila. Oh, you calling her the first?
Yeah, well, think about it.
Yeah,
no, she wouldn't be the first white woman. White women want the first woman president to be a white woman.
Got it.
And I still think that somewhere in the back of their mind, way back down deep when nobody wants to think about it.
But they could have voted for Hillary though, right? If they wanted a white woman.
They didn't like Hillary, but they was like, but don't get it twisted. We don't like her. But if we don't you think that just because we don't like her, that we gonna give up your spot? And I think Joe's virility played something into it, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I'm gonna stop y'all. Gonna be mad at me. Also, I think we have to pay attention to the Lauren Underwood race where Jim Oberweis is in a slight lead. And when we went to sleep, he had opened up a 5-point lead and then it closed, and now it's within half a point.
Wow.
But what that should tell you is that even though Lauren Underwood got elected by white women in the suburbs, you're never safe. You're never safe you think about it. She did everything she could to be as, I understand, she had to code switch. Let's just say she was code switching.
Okay.
For her audience.
Which is nothing wrong with it, I don't think.
As long as she doesn't play us in the process.
And you feel like she played us in the process?
No, I don't think so, because we're not in her district, really.
Right.
So you'd have to ask a black person that lives in her district, does she? And I got to imagine that the needs of the black people in her district are probably not similar to the needs that we have, right? They just probably want to just be left alone. But the fact that white people might pick Jim Oberweis over her, now he is a dairy magnate, he's rich, he's wealthy. I just think of Jim Oberweis and those helicopters. He had helicopters and fences, and he was like, they're coming over the border. And
from Canada?
No. No, and I do think that's going to.
Shots. Sorry, guys.
I think that's going to. I think that's telling. Like, I'm starting to. It really leads me to the social media question of the day, which I'm gonna just give it to us now, and then we'll talk about it after we come back from the break. But why is it so hard for black people to understand that white people benefit from all white people benefit from racism? Right? Like, you know how when Donald Trump said to black people, what do you have to lose? Mm-hmm. Like, what do white people have to lose voting for Donald Trump, really? Like, any white person, from the top to the bottom, what do they have to lose? If they wear a mask on their own and they do their own social distancing, help me understand why is it so hard for us as black people to understand, no matter how cool we are with everybody, no matter how much they march, no matter how many white women outrage, even if they, minus getting grabbed in the cooch, all white people benefit from racism. Now, they may not say, give me my benefit, but they sure don't be like, you know what? Like, if they started lining people up, white people just gonna be like, well. And I think that's something we got to talk about, because I believe that we tend to put too much faith in white folks and their ability to do right and to do right by us. Look at cannabis. I'm going to use cannabis as an example. Mm-hmm. Like, there were 2 black women, there were 2 white women. They talked about social equity. We found out there was no social equity. The 2 white women are not crying. They got paid. The 2 black women are now left to deal with the outcome of that. Mm-hmm. That was racism. The liberal white woman who was the champion, they benefit from racism no matter what. Absolutely. Whether they're liberal or conservative. And so I want to talk to us, because I think we really have to be in control of our own destiny. We cannot be riding this boat with white people who win even when we lose.
And then be surprised about it.
Right. And black people been cursing at each other while the white people did you. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Look, we'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwakil's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. Right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
We fun guy. What's tomorrow? Fun guy, what's up, baby? What it do, baby? Yeah, yo, what it do? You know what I'm saying? So I'll be telling you.
What's going on, Chicago? What's in it for the Black People Media presents?
I want to go higher. Oh, my God.
Call your sons, call your daughters, call your friends, call your neighbors.
The Big Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin. We got what you need right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Hey, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore, sitting in the space. Todd took the day off. I'm going to just assume he took the day off.
I'm going to call it.
Actually, he's being a no-call, no-show, which is a no-no.
Oh, no-call, no-show. That's even different. That's worse. I remember being when you work at a restaurant and somebody no-call, no-show, and you got your plan for lunch, and then you got the You know it's all good.
Let me know.
You know what? It is a crazy day. Let me tell you what's supposed to happen today. So I'm gonna put my precinct captain hat on. It's days like this that if you're a precinct captain, if you like somebody, you gotta go to sleep and you gotta wake up and win or lose. You gotta be back up and at it at 8:00 in the morning. You gotta be in your space. People gotta see you with your head up, rolling around, being in control. Win or lose. People can't know that they broke you. Right? They can't know that you feel. Now you might go home at noon. But you gotta be in the lobby in the morning shaking hands like, yeah, what you thought?
In the lobby of where? Where do people convene at?
Well, no, I mean, like if you work like, so I always think of the black people. The black people who worked campaigns, the next morning they were at say it would be City Hall or it'd be the county building or it'd be wherever it was. But wherever all the people who knew, because if you was political, this, like everybody that's a government worker that's in play, they've been doing double duty for 9 months. Now, nowadays, these guys get away with murder. So they don't. They get to fake it. But, like, back in the day, right? Like, you ain't getting no peace, no rest. This is what you used to bet your whole livelihood on today's outcome. So that's why, Todd, you got to be up, man. You got to stand up and take it in the face for the Democrats. You can't be around here acting. No, I'm just playing.
Todd, like, I don't care about this.
Right. Todd, like, I'm going golfing. You see this weather out? Todd is on the golf course, like.
It is going to be 70 degrees.
But social media question of the day. Why is it so hard for black people to understand all white people benefit from racism? See, I think the challenge we have right now is that we have put our hope, fate, and destiny in the hands of white people. So for all of the black people that were looking to escape this thing of Trumpism, our plan hinged on white people not recognizing that they get an inherent benefit from racism.
Or being willing to give up, quote unquote, some of those benefits.
Right. Because I'm going to be honest. If I was me, if I had the power of white people as a black person, I wouldn't give it up. I wouldn't. And I would be thinking about, no, I'm just saying, and even if I was a liberal white guy, right? Like right-wing liberal, left-wing, I drive a Subaru and all that. I feel like if I was in the voting booth and I saw all the downtown burn and I saw that they was coming to all the different neighborhoods and that my privilege could be disturbed, white man, white woman, he could say all the crazy stuff he wanted to, but if I thought he was going to be able to keep the genie in the bottle.
Basically, you talking about law and order. That is the deciding, this is my opinion, that has been the boiling pot of what is going on with a lot of these political races and what's going on with the climate in America. And I think that how everybody, I think they just call it the suburban white woman. Like, that is who you got to kind of look at to see how, not only how this is going to shake out, but we saw what happened in the last election when they voted for Donald Trump. He got in. So,
and then they was outside with they pink coochie cat hats talking about, but then didn't invite the black women.
Make you march in the back.
Help me understand. Give us a call. 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Who were the people that, if Donald Trump pulls this out, who were the people that failed? Because, see, I feel like they're going to try and blame black men.
What? They already did.
What you mean they already did?
Remember, they've been kind of setting it up to say, like, okay, this is going to hinge upon black men. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's really true.
Do you think they're gonna cancel Ice Cube? You think they're going to blame it on Ice Cube and Lil Wayne?
You know what? Okay, so if Donald Trump pulls it out, I'm hoping that Ice Cube get a seat at the table.
Oh, should Ice Cube? So let me ask a question. What role did white people play in this? Like, do you think white people, like the liberal white people had, if you were white, seriously, give me a call. 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. What happened? What happened last night? Who were the deciding factors that pushed this race in a different direction that people anticipated? You know, I really think, because even though they said there was a tremendous amount of turnout, they said it was steady. So do you think they underestimated how many Republicans early voted?
You know, I believe that they underestimated the Republican outreach. But you know what? I think another thing that I assumed, this is just my assumption, was that the pandemic was going to outweigh the law and order narrative.
I think the pandemic didn't outweigh the economic piece. And I think that what we have been saying the whole time was that people did not want to shut down. And here's where I think Joe Biden's going to have an issue if it comes down to Pennsylvania. If it comes down to Pennsylvania, which is beyond Philadelphia, right? And we got to see what came in. But beyond Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, all of the rest of that is, ain't Philadelphia where they sent Bill Cosby to jail?
Ain't he from Philly?
Right. I'm just saying. Now, what I'm suggesting, though, is in between all of that are the coal miners, the frackers, the oil people. When we think about Michigan, remember, Joe Biden said he was going to destroy the automobile industry. The Florida vote, that meant that Tesla is now the biggest car company, stock-wise. So they are, where are they? California. If you're Detroit and you're hearing that, you got to ask yourself. So who's responsible for this, in your estimation? Like, what are the factors? We saw that the Latinos in Florida, Democrats just said last night they're going to write Florida off. They said, think about this.
What happened to that? Where that Bloomberg money go?
Hold on. They spent $162 million in Florida trying to convince the Latino community. $162 million to convince in Florida. But a big chunk of that, remember the Latinos said, if we don't get nothing, we ain't playing? And Bloomberg said, I'll commit $100 million to it. The only people that don't benefit from racism is black people. Latinos benefit from racism because they number 2. If it's a number 3, you benefit.
Ooh, I sure do.
I'm concerned here. Give us a call. 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. What happened last night? How does, if this guy this essentially tells you that if you ain't on the coast, you got a problem.
Maze, I think that I have not heard anybody make any declarative statements related to like the outcome, except Trump. He said he won.
Trump said he won.
Stop counting.
He said he won at like 12 o'clock. Stop counting.
Why you stop counting?
Can I suggest this? I would like to say that I do think that it is, the longer this drags out, the more opportunity the president has to lock this thing down. Right? Yesterday, he said, when you watch this speech, that Trump is really a slickster. I'm going to say he's really a slickster because he yesterday was like, when the Democrats said they're going to stop counting with him in the lead in places like Georgia, that only leads people to think that he was like, why? So they can go find 100,000 more votes? Think about that. So now, if when you work at Burger King and you work at a lunch rush, I don't care if the schedule does say you get off at 12 o'clock. If there's a line out the door, you don't get out until the line is done and over. Don't even come over here and ask me. You know better. And so what I'm suggesting is, you know what? Trump is like, look, check this out. Y'all count them votes and we gonna keep. He's like, I'm winning. I was up by 200,000 votes in Georgia, and now they just said, let's just stop counting. Everybody go home. I won. And we want to stop the count right now.
See, the thing that Trump does very well is he tries to control the narrative.
And he projects it in it. But because they telegraph their moves, like the Democrats, they try to play fair to me.
No, too fair. Because let me tell you, last night when Trump was tweeting, I was like, man, where Joe at? Why ain't Joe and Kamala tweeting?
He was asleep.
But it's that kind of in your face bravado that draw people to Trump.
We the best. It's America.
I'm going to tell you. When he rolled out yesterday at the White House, 200 people in the East Room, nobody had a mask on. Flags draped behind him in the White House. Like, yo, I just can't. I don't even need all these votes. He said America elected me overwhelmingly, and now tonight, after they know that I'm gonna win, they are now trying to change the rules. They are now stopping. And so, I'm just gonna tell you, he is going to stretch. He is going to make Joe Biden stretch the limits of his will of potentially not breaking the Constitution, but breaking America. And I here's what I believe. I believe that if Joe Biden presses too hard, there will be a fissure between the red and blue states. And in that fissure, we literally could see the breaking of I don't want to call it a civil war.
The stage is, that's what the stage is being set for.
That's what they were doing last night on ABC when I was watching George Stephanopoulos. They were literally, first of all, it looked like a funeral. They were watching, like the white folks was watching, like, I can't believe this is happening. They thought they were going to, they thought they had the potential to flip the Senate and the House. And white people said, slow down, homie. Slow down. Now, this in the face of knowing that they just hijacked the Supreme Court. Like, here's what I feel like. Ruthie, if this thing gets to court, and you saw the Democrats already advancing their plea of please, Amy Coney Barrett, don't be political. But the whole point is she's there to be political.
They've been setting this up.
They set this whole thing up.
I need the Dems to take the gloves off, though.
Yeah,
I need them to put some plaster in the gloves.
It's not happening. They don't have the intestinal fortitude. And Joe, first of all, Joe doesn't have, I don't think, the stamina to project the fight the way Trump does. Mm-hmm. And you can't really engage Kamala because I'm telling you, the more you put Kamala up now, Kamala is now a liability. She is now a liability.
What do you mean by that?
The blue states are in.
Okay.
The blue states are in. Anytime she speaks now, if she goes to Philadelphia, not to Philadelphia, putting her up in front of them white folks is just like raving a red piece of meat. Like,
oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. Hey, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Boys, step aside. The radio rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore. We are asking the social media question of the day. Why is it so hard for black people to understand that all white people benefit from racism?
Maze, your political analysis is so good. Like, it is so spot on.
You've done this before, kid.
You know what?
But it is, what makes it extra good is that you understand society. Like, so it's not, so you're not a typical political pundit. Like, you understand the numbers, but you understand what's behind the numbers in a way that a lot of people, I think it's actually quite unmatched from what I can see. I think you are at the top of the game, my brother.
I'll take all of that. I'll take all of that. And speaking of that.
And don't throw in no pop culture. It's over with. Nobody can touch you.
Thank you, Ruthie. And if you want to catch a little bit more of that, you'll catch it today at 9:10 on Fox 32, where I'll be sharing that information. Ruthie, right now I think that as I look at the map, I think that
even in Illinois, what was the vote for Trump?
Trump got over 2 million. Trump got over 40% vote in Illinois. That's pretty. He got over 2 million votes.
Very telling.
Let me suggest, if you were to look at the map and you were to draw a line across Illinois, Ruthie, like if you were to look at this map and this whole map would be red with the exception of the dot that is Chicago or Cook County, right? So if you think about it, right now, I think what we're also seeing is the flaw in the Democrat strategy in picking Kamala Harris.
Yep.
If you look at the map, Kamala Harris brought nothing to the table. They already had California.
Should have gone with Warren.
Right? No, Warren would have only brought them Massachusetts.
Who's the other one?
They need to find some. They needed someone from the middle. They needed a Midwesterner.
That Tammy Duckworth, right?
No, Tammy Duckworth doesn't represent Midwestern values. No. They needed a straight shooter. And they could have done, that's where Megan Whitmer, right? The governor who was under gun attack, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, right.
All right, but why is it so hard for us to understand that all white people benefit from racism? Which is why we're in this conundrum today. And we convinced ourselves to be mad at each other while white folks are not tripping. Let's go to the live line. Let's start with Frank. Frank, you're on the Maze Jackson Show.
Hey, good morning, Brother Maze, Sister Ruthie and Sonia. Sister Sonia.
You okay, Frank? I'm praying for you, man. I'm praying for you, brother.
Thank you. I'm praying for Todd, too. You had me busted up and spitting my cough out when you said, wake up, Todd.
I think Todd is probably in the bed in fetal position still.
Well, I'm going to speak to him anyway. Good morning, Brother Todd. Brother Maze, you are 100% right in everything you're saying. And I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, they're going to try to blame it on the black man if Donald Trump gets in there. And that's going to be a downfall, too. Because if he does get in, we're going to have leverage on him. Let them blame on the black man.
Wait. Hold on, Frank. Frank. Hold on. You can't, first of all, what you mean we going to have leverage? What you mean we? Because you done cursed all the black people out. Now, what's going to happen now?
Let me rephrase that.
Go ahead.
Let me rephrase that. The way things came out with Ice Cube, Kanye West, Lil Wayne, you see what I'm saying? They was already trying to they was already setting the stage anyway to try to point the finger at the black man for betraying everyone else. That's all I'm saying. We should have some kind of leverage if he does think, well, these black men can't do for me. That's why I won. But that's not why he wins. If he does win, I'm going to tell you, it's like it goes in line with what you're saying. You know what I'm saying, Brother May? I'm going to tell you the two culprits is. The two culprits is the white people that talk all this crap and trash and negativity about Donald Trump, then take outside the booth, then take their vote right in that booth and vote for him anyway. Because it's like you said, all white people understand they benefit from racism and white supremacy. That's who the true culprit is. Nothing to send my stars in to you too, man. I hope I do it right this time. I kind of confused last time.
Now, you know
but can I say?
Go ahead. You can. Go ahead.
Can I say just one more thing?
Go ahead, brother.
No, just remind me of, remember that record, I think War made it, and it's about Lone Ranger and Tonga getting surrounded by 1,000 Indians, and he had blood in the eyes, and Lone Ranger said, well, Tonga, like, we're in trouble now. And Tonga looked at him and said, what you mean we, white man? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking. What you mean we, white man? What you mean we? That's before Ruthie's time. But remember that though, man? Remember that?
I don't even remember that, Frank, but I'm about to go look it up. I'm going to tell you that. We need Todd. Yeah, Todd don't remember that.
That was a jam like Cisco Kid. What you mean we, white man?
I didn't know
what you mean we?
All right, Frank, I appreciate you, man. Let me go to the next caller.
I know Cisco Kid, Frank.
Oh, Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Okay. All right, let's go to the live line. Let's go to Israel. Israel, you on the Maze Jackson Show. What happened, man?
Good morning. What happened was, hey, they just don't understand, man. Okay, we're pushing to help push them over. Y'all call them little pity rappers. Little Pump was with on stage with Trump. All right, Lil Pump, I haven't looked up his Twitter followers, but more than likely, he probably got 50 million or something like that Twitter followers. He probably got almost 1 billion streams or more than 1 billion streams. All right, but the thing that what I'm excited about is Q. Q got him on paper. Like Q said, he can't make them do the promises, but it's on paper. And we can leverage. We can say, okay, what about the 500 billion? The 500 billion. Now, if he denied that in front of everybody, then he's really going to be trash. You know what I mean? So he's not going to do that. And they talk about Florida. They talk about Cubans. And them Cubans, they say Latinos. All Latinos is not the same. A Mexican and a Cuban is not the same. A Puerto Rican and somebody from Guatemala.
A lot of
Guatemala, they look at each other like Africans look at us and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they messed up. The Democratic Party slept. Yeah, they got the sisters. And what's crazy on CNN, the sisters was talking about, I call it the platinum. I want the platinum plan. I want it all platinum, baby. All platinum, no shame. All right. Hey, I checked you out last night, man. I was looking at CNN, but I checked you out, man. You had a good show last night. Looking real good, bro.
Hey,
right,
we appreciate you, my brother. Now let me tell you, we done came a long way. Remember Jake used to call us up and curse us out. He used to call us up, curse us out, those old days. Then he was checking us out last night. I'm going to tell you, I'm really proud of our election special.
Oh, yeah.
I am. You know what, Ruthie? It makes me feel like when I was putting up the video, it made me look back to our very first edition of not Illinois Minotti, but Poli-Sci 101.
Oh, my goodness.
And we did the intros, and we was all dressed up in the morning, and we was all nervous. And it was, actually, we did it right here. Like right here. We're sitting on the spot where we did it. Right. Think about
that was so long ago. I've known you for a long time.
See, man, I'm telling you. Can I tell you? Want me to tell you a secret how we really know you? So let me tell you. So there was this contest to replace me as the commentator at the old place, and they let me pick. And so there was two choices. And so one choice, they said, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, it was between you and Mississippi Rick. And I'll explain Mississippi Rick when I get off this. But anyway, I was like, let's let Mississippi Rick be the commentator. You know why?
Why, Maze?
Because we wanted you to be on our show. And then you sold us out. Right. But that's okay, because we got you back anyway. All right, y'all. This is the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Maze Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like May said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. Be done had a heart attack.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
Yeah. All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah.
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this thing.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right. Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
How about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Chicago famous. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You ever have one of those moments in comic view that was just something you were like, wow, I can't believe that just unfolded like that?
Deion Cole will tell you, when he did his first Def Jam, he said he only had 15 minutes of material. But it was so impactful that they booked him, and now he's on the Def Jam tour with the 15 minutes, and he did 7 of them already on Def Jam. So now you got to create build an act. A new production company came in, and they decided, no, if they come out here and they bomb, show it, and put crickets
Oh yeah,
they started putting little crickets and sound effects. And that didn't work. You know, they would overdo it too. This was funny too. This is another behind the scenes comedy. Those laugh when you see people buckling over and laughing. That might not even be your audience.
They edited that from another.
Dude, you'll look and see this lady in all the episodes. You know, you're like, she must be a paid audience member. How is that lady laughing at everybody's show? I used to do a job like one time. I saw me laughing at me on Comedy. I'm like, how did I get in the audience on my own special? What are they doing?
Oh man. David Williams.
Those are the days, man.
Man, thank you for stopping by Chicago Famous.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
What's in it for the black people? Cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to lies, can't doze no more. I told y'all this, that dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies of the politicians. We need money, no symbolism. It's Maze and Sonia and Ruthie and Todd explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we united, our movement gon' start. They ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressor to solve them.
What's in it for the black people? All the lies we didn't heard before. Time to pay attention, you gotta do more than listen. There's some action with it on the count of 3. Let's go.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. And wake up, Todd. Todd, we gonna send you a link. You can just zoom in from the bed. You know what I'm saying? You just sit in your chair and you just click the link and then you come in. We gonna talk to you from where you at, cause we know, man. We know we put you. You know how when you old, you know how you be out too late and then it take you like a week to recover from being out one night.
Yeah, it takes me about 3 days now.
Man, I'm gonna tell you. One time me and Carrie went out. I think it took me 2 days to get back. I had like 2 drinks. I was like, Lord have mercy. By the way, shout out to Ruthie and Carrie for last night polishing off a bottle of Glenlivet 30-year-old scotch with ginger ale.
With Herb.
And Herb Howard. Y'all, great job last night.
You are the Maze. Let me tell you something I think is so funny about you.
What?
You are the type of like person, father, boss, working person that you don't want nobody to be having too much fun, because if it's too much fun going on, you always got to come and like bust it up.
I don't bust it. Do
you be busting it up? Like if I can't do this right now, y'all can't do this.
It's like it's tense, man. It's like we working. Y'all, you know what? Can I tell you something? It's funny because I yesterday was making fun of Herb at first when he was like, look, show's got to start. We better be live at 7 o'clock and by 7:01. And he was coaching. But I really was like, yo, like last night.
That was cute.
I think it was, but it's got to be more than cute. Like, I think it is, look, we building something. And so yesterday, I took yesterday's show seriously. Now, I don't want to take away from y'all fun. But yesterday, I don't think the reason I was snapping yesterday was because of the, you was having too much fun. I was like, I cannot believe y'all drinking 30-year-old scotch with 7-Up in it. Right? Like, this is one of them things where you're supposed to taste the notes and all of that stuff, and you're supposed to smell it and let it hit your bouquet, and you're supposed to taste it.
Maybe there's 2 categories, light and dark.
Connoisseurs.
I was wondering why I was so smooth.
Hey, right.
He said, this $100 bottle. I couldn't even pronounce it. Literally, we were just like dark or light, like what you want.
And I was like, it's kind of tan. We can mix it in.
Donna G.
I put a piece of ice in it.
You know, Donna. You know, that's Dawn. Cause that's why I love having a rich housewife as the book of Dawn. Dawn be around here. Dawn was like, we need pipe and drape. I was like, we got some drapes and. You can go to Home Depot. Then a whole crew came in, merched the whole joint. I'm going to have to pull this out and let y'all see the work. Dawn took over the title yesterday of production manager. So she is going to make sure that all our, like even if you're looking right now, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, there's a whole kind of different little vibe going on right now. Right? Visual. All right, y'all. Let's talk about what happened in the state's attorney's race.
Whew. That's a relief.
Let's talk about it. Kim Foxx wins the Cook County State's Attorney's race about 54-40. Victory. 7% of the vote went to Libertarians. It was clearly the clear demarcation was city versus suburbs. The suburbs turned out for O'Brien. Kim Foxx. There was a moment when it was close and O'Brien had a lead, but Kim comfortably ran away with this. Talk to me about this race. What does it mean, and what does it mean for criminal justice reform going forward and law enforcement here? I think back to the Rossetti Four and just hearing that story of those 4 young men who, even though they knew, and you remember yesterday we were talking to Kristen McQuarrie, and white folks convinced themselves.
She said that was in the past.
It was the past.
So
like
long
slavery.
ago.
He's been
like
fighting
slavery.
for reform.
Like, why can't you know what I'm saying? Talk to me about this Kim Foxx race. Ruthie, give me your thoughts.
I knew that going into like the legalization of like marijuana and things like that all the criminal justice reforms that were happening, that we needed somebody, in that seat that would, essentially push through some of those criminal justice reforms. Although, we do have, that's kind of like all we got from cannabis, but that's a whole nother story. But this time around, I think that the law and order narrative that was sort of in the air, it's very scary to live in a place like Cook County, and to think that criminal justice reform might come to a standstill in a sense, or the type of criminal justice reform that Black people need.
What does it mean? What do you think this means as it relates to her relationship with the police and FOP and all of that? They have been the police and the state's attorney are typically usually work hand in hand, particularly when I'm kind of glad they don't work hand in hand anymore, because they could collaborate and decide before the judge who was guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm enjoying that. Now, what do you think Kim has to do now going forward?
At first, the strategy of like not campaigning, essentially, I thought that was a mistake.
I did too. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I did not like the campaign strategy, but I'm gonna tell you that I love to see my candidates show off. Mm-hmm. Show their knowledge base, but apparently that strategy worked. So go ahead. I didn't agree with it either.
Yeah, but I was saying that strategy actually worked. But I think moving forward, I don't think it'll work. But I don't think it'll work because this one made us hold our breath a little bit, and we know the implications of criminal justice reform and having a state's attorney that is criminal justice reform minded versus law and order. And so this race was so important. But I also think that this race kind of really shows the strength of the Cook County Democratic Party.
I don't think it shows any strength of the Democratic Party. I think that Kim Foxx both times has been elected because of her role in the lives of Black people. I cannot say the same for the Democratic Party. I would say that when you think about the first time Kim Foxx was elected, she was swept in the midst of the Laquan McDonald.
The Buy Anita hashtag,
yes.
I call it.
Then I think probably what also stuck out in the minds of a lot of people is the George Floyd, Jacob Blake, consistent murders and interactions with police, and saying do we really want to go back to the days when the police, like, imagine Anita Alvarez with Darren Chauvin, right? Is Derek Chauvin? Darren Chauvin, right? Oh. Like, she gave Jason Van Dyke a pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, faced with all of the murders that we have seen over this time, I think it was pretty apparent. I think it was pretty apparent to a lot of people. And I think it would have, I think a lot of the woke white people who were marching and all of that, they all of the stuff that they did this summer would have gone to naught. It would have been like the ultimate show of hypocrisy.
Ooh.
So y'all fighting for police reform, y'all want to ban the police, but then you want to run. So I think white people who had the option to go out the door, I think they were on the hook, or else all of those marches that they took pictures of, they'd be like, people would be able to say, where were you when Kim Foxx, right?
That's good, Maze.
No, I mean, I think that that was an opportunity to vote your values safely, right? Safely, and still hit Trump. Because you got to imagine that somewhere in this mix that there were pro-Kim Foxx, pro-Trump white people. Right? I'm going to have to look at some of these areas, but you got to imagine that in places like the North Side. But I also want to know what. We're going to talk about this part too, because don't forget the white guys that have gone out the back door. So I do think we're going to, and I don't want y'all to get off of that because I'm going to talk about that when I come back. But Kim Foxx winning, what's next? What's next? What is the next big thing? What is the next thing that needs to be done in criminal justice reform? Now that she has the mandate and she has 4 years, do we let this go by like we did Obama, or do we say, now, here is what we want?
Ooh.
Because there was a race, and there were clear lines of demarcation.
That's a good one.
What now, Kim Foxx? And I mean that with a twinkle in my eye.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can we fix now?
That's a really good question. The next phase of criminal justice reform, it likely is hinging upon, like, it's going hand in hand with police reform.
Well, you got to think about this. We are, if you look at Joe Ferguson's report, in regards to the police, we are at we've only completed 30% of. We're at only 30% of where we're supposed to be, in relation to the consent decree. So I guess now we got. I want to know, how does this work? Like, what is the next phase? Because I don't think she does the police reform. I think Kim can control what happens when she sees a bogus case. Right? I think where we know where they need to insert themselves, and hopefully as she continues to clean house, I hope she can find a team of black attorneys that can get at the business of getting who we know. Like, I would love to see black prosecutors that are go-getter prosecutors for our community, though. Like, I would love to see a lineup of black prosecutorial swordsmen that know who the people are in our community and go get them and make our community safer. And I'd love to see her be a law enforcement officer that understands what what needs to be enforced. So when they put those cases together and they team up and they say, okay, we know that on this block and this group and these people, and when there is a surgical removal, we trust that those people have been a cancer that have been removed from our neighborhoods. Now it is time, in my estimation, for her to be a crime fighter, right? We know that, and understanding that if Kim blesses the prosecution,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know that if there's an O-type secretor, that they're not going to ignore the evidence that would let somebody go for convenience sake. And when the black prosecutorial swordsmen stand up and say, we are, you know how you see these guys coming from the FBI and they stand up and can you imagine when Kim stands up there and says, these are the blah, 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 blah that have terrorized the blah, 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 blah. And we know because we live at blah, blah. I grew up at blah, blah, blah. And I want the kids that go to school at XYZ, ABC. Could you imagine knowing that the chief law enforcement officer was going to enforce law and order correctly in our neighborhoods? Like, realistically, understanding that she is a prosecutor. We know that there are people that need to be prosecuted.
That's interesting. You know, that's interesting. That's a very proactive approach, but I think criminal justice reform in Cook County is reactionary.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't say what it was. I'm saying what's next. Look, It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays, starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information. Or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's In It for the Black People Media.
WIFTBPM. I think that the black community is starting to realize the mayor may not necessarily be an ally just because she is black.
Live from What's In It for the Black Media Studio.
Our representatives don't necessarily get a pass just because they're black. We've got a challenge in the black part of Chicago of holding black politicians accountable.
You're listening to The Maze Jackson Show.
This is Chicago, so I understand the Chicago way. I ask every day what's in it for the black people.
With Maze Jackson.
Come on, y'all.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore. It seems like Todd's not going to go, and people still tired of sitting on the runway. They're getting impatient. So let's do this. Let's get this thing up and away. 60,000 feet. We gonna fly to Indianapolis and back, right? Because we got to get there and get back, and we got to do it all in about an hour and 37 minutes because we got to have it back for Book of Dawn. All right, so now that Kim Foxx is won, I gotta ask the question: what is going on with Brendan Riley and the Turncoats? So here's my thing. Democratic committeemen. We saw. Okay, so I know y'all know y'all got short memory, so I'm gonna remind you all that during the primary, when Kim faced her toughest challenge, many of the white Irish Democratic committeemen did not put her on their palm card. Now, do you all know what a palm card is? That is that piece of information that you get from when you're going into the vote polling place that tells you how to vote. Now, typically, the most influential person used to be your precinct captain. So you'd look for your party's palm card to know how to vote to know who was going to do the best for your community. Well, what we saw, and part of being a member of the Democratic Party is you rely on Democratic committeemen once you are endorsed by the party to get the word out to help you get elected. Brendan Riley, 42nd Ward Alderman, Democratic committeeman who sits in the Democratic meetings, who gets a vote on Democratic policy, took $1,000 of his own dollars and publicly contributed to Pat O'Brien, the Republican candidate. Now, if I was a political strategist and I was observing this, I might, knowing that Brendan Riley's constituency is upwardly mobile, rich, white people who are really only concerned about downtown, I could see how politically it benefits him to say he's on the side of law and order.
Absolutely.
And I can see how it politically benefits him to publicly discredit the black woman who is responsible for the madness. You know how white people talk. Responsible, because did you see on City So Real how they were talking about, the white people was talking about, you know, the city and the things that were happening? And these were like our thought leaders and community, right? Like philanthropy, the philanthropic community and all of that.
People with the purse strings.
So those white folks, essentially, I could see why Brendan would openly go against Kim Foxx if he wasn't a Democratic committeeman.
Well, is that an example of?
That is so I've talked to a lot of Democratic committeemen, and they say, well, you know, that's how the white boys do.
Yeah.
There is no penalty. Like, what should the Democrat, like, remember they just unslated Michael Tooman for conduct unbecoming. Let's just call it that. Should the Democrats then go after the Democratic committeemen who did not support Kim Foxx? Should they have to show and prove? Like, I'm saying, like, it seems to me that if you walk into the room, can you imagine? Because in just a few weeks, these are going to be the same people that are picking the next set of Democratic candidates. Because you know we got another election next year. So now, here's what you got. Black people sitting in a room with white people who have openly double-crossed them, pretending like they didn't openly double-cross them. Will black Democrats make an example? Like, they don't, so Kim Foxx, just think about this. Kim Foxx could have potentially been the most important candidate to black people this century. Realistically, if you think about think about the Rossetti 4 and four boys times 14 years. Think about how much, and think about she has let hundreds of people who have been wrongfully convicted, have been reprogrammed, have had their whole lives changed. They took Democrats took a stab at taking out our most treasured candidate in the last century. this century.
I agree.
What is the penalty for that? Like, do you all get together and does everybody say, let me see your palm cards? Remember I was asking y'all for the palm cards? Because, see, what you have is evidence of white folks working against you while you are still protecting their self-interest. So now you got to ask yourself, what is the most important candidate to white folks coming up? Think about when the chairman of the Democratic Party, who is being saved right now by the Black Caucus, refuses to support the black woman candidate, but will use black women to destroy black men. So what is the penalty? What is the consequence? Because y'all know I paid a penalty. What is the... Brendan Riley, remember Brendan was the guy, I'm not even go down that path. But again, what is the price? What is the price for open disrespect? So, cause here and then
I'm pretty sure that this was not a seat of the pants decision.
Well, here's my thing. It's a lot of black men that's committeemen. White boys walking.
We sitting around the table.
Yeah, they sat around the table.
Planning this.
First of all, you can watch the white guys in the city council. You can watch the white Irish guys, the young ones, start to congregate. Like it's like, you know how at the lunchroom they get together. So you got to see, what did Alderman Marty, what did they do in 11, 12, 13, 42, 47? What did the white committeemen, Democratic committeemen, do to help make sure that Kim Foxx won? Did they do the right thing? Did they send out emails? Did we see enthusiastic support? Because, again, remember, the white guys are supposed to be the people who pull her through in the white areas. That's why you're the Democratic committeeman. You have to explain to your constituents who might not ordinarily be inclined to vote for a black woman. You have to explain, and part of your value when you present a candidate, because I really think everybody needs, slating is coming up. And I think there needs to be a white victim. Like, I think there needs to be a white person who gets slated that gets double-crossed by all the black people.
An example.
And they do everything right, and they should lose. And the black people should put up a candidate and be like, sorry, we're not going with you, only after they're slated.
What should the reason be? Because it got to be a good reason.
The reason is because, what reason did they offer to go against Kim Foxx?
He said because it was a revolving door.
Okay, so our reason is because how about this? Because you don't respect us. How about that?
Right.
For our own self-respect.
Okay, black people.
I'm saying, like, let them do all the work. Think about this. Think about all of what it took for Kim Foxx to get slated. Think about they all sat in the meeting. She came out unanimously, and then they left out the door and then double-crossed her. Now, they do this all the time. They did it to Kerry. Right? With the help of white progressives. White progressives, it's just the Irish guys be in front, but the white progressives be like, oh, I can't do that. How many white women was like, I can't get any of my friends to sign their petitions? Stop lying. A Nazi got his petition signed. When you got white women telling you why they can't get you petitions, what's the penalty? Because think about how many white women rode Kim Foxx's coattails to multi-millions with the cannabis piece.
If black people do make a play like that, it's going to require them to unapologetically be black. So can we stand on blackness like that?
How about this? How about we don't wait on them?
Come on.
How about this? How about let them do their slating and we double cross? The black people just make a decision and we double crossing somebody white on the slate. And then the Democrats just got to roll with it. Look, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, however, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
The birthday line is, easily, or the birthday bash, whatever you want to call it.
Our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our one. That's my girl.
That's my girl by the Temptations.
Like,
Like no matter where we go, we gotta do that.
Ready to go down?
Yes, we are.
Come on, who's this on that birthday line?
It's Mandy and baby.
And how old are you on this day?
I'm 14.
Go ahead. It's your birthday. Go ahead.
Definitely let out twins.
Where y'all from? Where y'all from?
Out of B.
Bad boy gonna say
I'd have been.
from WGCI. That's 3 down.
Old
Bill
projects.
on the show called It's Your Birthday. Go, 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 go. Question.
Hey, she doing the question.
No more to go. With the show called It's Your Birthday.
Hey, let that play.
It took there.
I'm tired just listening to that.
Chicago famous. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
WIFTV PM.
Doc said that ain't paranoia, that's anxiety. Either way, I can feel when people watching me. I don't know if it's the women or if it's the clothes. When I walk inside the room, these haters get exposed. I hit my dance on a hater, they don't like that. I've been grinding for a minute, fella.
AM 1570, WBGX Harvey, Chicago.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Miss Ruth and more. Sonia Escobar rocking us out. Ruthie, you was snapping on the break a little bit. I was just asking, what's the penalty for this disrespect? Like, I mean, Brendan Riley walked up and just, like,
took your lunch.
He came up, he was very disrespectful to she's got to be probably the most important candidate to black folks tangibly in this century. She might be the most significant candidate we've elected in Cook County this century. And I would say that if you were to talk about who has answered the question, what's in it for the black people, you got to say Kim Foxx, especially. She's got the most tangibles.
Brendan Riley should be trending right now on Twitter.
Why should he be trending right now on Twitter?
So, like you said, the most important election for black people, right? So on one hand, Brendan Riley can support Biden Harris, tell you to go vote.
Don't forget he was also the sponsor of Ida B. Wells' Drive.
It's just it's frustrating, and this is why I pray for patience, but I cannot be a politician because my strategy, we about to go get all of the old Kim Foxx signs and put them down in front of his house and in front of his campaign office.
He live in a high rise.
Guess what? We finna be out there with our Kim Foxx signs.
Explain to me why are you so bothered, Ruthie? It seems like
because this is exactly the type of stuff that get us every time. How white people like this can play both sides and we miss it. And now that Kim Foxx has taken the victory, what is the consequence for this?
There is no consequence for disrespecting black people.
There has to be.
There is no consequence for disrespecting black people.
Brendan Riley should not. He got some splaining to do.
To who? Who gonna check me, boo?
You right.
Who gonna check? I mean, I'm just saying. Like I part of my ultimate frustration, and this is so I'm a dovetail this into our next conversation, which I know y'all think I am fixated, but this is the same thing that the speaker does. This is what he has taught. This is what they have taught their people to do, to put us in a position where black folks are always compromised.
You know how they say baddest person hit my hand?
Uh-huh.
And they hit our hand every time and
nobody hits
nobody
back.
do nothing.
Right. That's it. From cannabis to gaming to like nobody ever strikes back for the black people. Like think about this. He is now so you have to let me dial it back. I can admit that I don't have a lot of patience. I can't. And I can also admit that sometimes I get passionate and forget what my mentor teaches me, which is don't get mad, get ahead. I don't know if we can get ahead if we don't have respect. Like if there is no fear of consequence, then we really aren't getting ahead. Brendan, we allow white people to pick which black people they're going to disrespect when. And after they choose who they're going to disrespect and when, you know what we do? Watch. Watch. To me, and I know I'm not, but again, I gotta feel like me and the guys, like the moment that Brendan Riley gave that money, me and the rest of the brothers that I know that was at the meeting we would have used a parliamentary procedure, and we would have called for a meeting of the Democratic committeemen, and we would have demanded that they address the issue, and we would have forced the Democratic committee of the chairman, who is a black woman, who actually is an ally of Kim Foxx, and we would have put him in a chokehold politically, and embarrassed him. Mm-hmm. I would have thrown him out of the party, and I would have stripped him. I mean, seriously.
Yes. Yeah, that's like you're playing a game and you gave them your.
But I just feel like where are the dudes?
Or what are the consequences of people, of our current elected officials speaking out against this? Are they still too beholden to the same system?
Can I tell y'all? Let me tell you. This is how white boys do. They try and take our candidates out with no regard. If we beat one of their candidates, they demand that you pay the money. Remember I told you about the elected official? I knew one of the most powerful black elected officials. He won a state Senate race, beat the Senate president's state Senate candidate, and won. Mm-hmm. And the Senate president made him give him the money he spent trying to protect his person. Like, so even when you win, they like, you got to pay me for winning, Negro. And we pay. Like, not we beat your, we kicked your butt in our neighborhood. They came to our neighborhood, we kicked their butt in our neighborhood, and now we got to pay them for the pleasure of serving. That is how they think of us. So when you got to understand my frustration that when Brendan Riley is the chief co-sponsor of Ida B. Wells Drive, when you know how he feels about black people, when you got pictures of him standing on the top of the Trump Tower with him, Ivanka, and Lil Donald and Donald, but we want to forget that. When we want to forget the drunken tirades and all of the things that he has said and all of the disrespectful things, yeah, he sounds real clever, but again, it's like I feel like he came up and grabbed our girl's hand at the restaurant and like, what you gonna do? Can you imagine going to, I used to say all the time, don't take your girlfriend to the Wendy's on Stony Island. Don't do it. Like, don't go inside with your girl, because if you went there after a game or something, somebody was gonna test you. Right? And so just don't somebody came up and just disrespected us in our face. And I'm just saying, where the brothers at? Where the sisters at? You know, like, this when you, like, you know how you be like, step back, let me take care of my lightweight.
Yeah.
Like, who getting ready to go? Who's the swordsman? Who's the black dude that's the swordsman that's going to be like, yo, hey, homie, we got business with you.
They probably got ties to Madigan, so they can't say nothing.
So we're going to talk about that when we come back, because when you talk about ties to Madigan, how strong are those ties? Seems like being associated with Madigan yesterday was a liability. He spent $10.2 million to bolster his power and wound up losing 2 seats. It was an all-around interesting time for the Democrats, and we're going to talk about the Madigan Effect when we come back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Chicago famous. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You ever have one of those moments in comic view there was just something you were like, wow, I can't believe that just unfolded like that?
Deion Cole will tell you, when he did his first Def Jam, he said he only had 15 minutes of material, but it was so impactful that they booked him, and now he's on the Def Jam tour with the 15 minutes, and he did 7 of them already on Def Jam. So now you got to create build an act. A new production company came in, and they decided, no, if they come out here and they bomb, show it, and put crickets.
Oh yeah,
they started putting little crickets and sound effects. And that didn't work. You know, they would overdo it too. This was funny too. This is another behind the scenes comedy. Those laugh when you see people buckling over and laughing. That might not even be your audience.
They edited that from another.
Dude, you'll look and see this lady in all the episodes. You know, you're like. She must be a paid audience member. How is that lady laughing at everybody's show? I used to do a job like one time. I saw me laughing at me on Comedy View. I'm like, how did I get in the audience on my own special? What are they doing?
Oh, man. David Williams.
Those were the days, man.
Man, thank you for stopping by Chicago Famous.
AM 1570, WBGX Harvey, Chicago.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays, starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
And you can tell them, May said, we want to know what's in it for the black people.
WIFTBPM.
I think that the black community is starting to realize the mayor may not necessarily be an ally just because she is black.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
Our representatives don't necessarily get a pass just because they're black. We've got a challenge in the black part of Chicago of holding black politicians accountable.
You're listening to The Maze Jackson Show.
This is Chicago, so I understand the Chicago way. I ask every day what's in it for the black people.
With Maze Jackson.
Come on, y'all.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Miss Ruthie Moore, Sonia Escobar. Todd, wake up. Wake up, Todd. Tell the cat it's gonna be okay. You be back. Well, it's all right. It's all right, Todd. You can zoom in. You want us to zoom you in? You want to just be like, Todd being in smoke. You think Todd be walking around the house in a smoking jacket and a pipe? Todd be leaving out of here.
He's in the corner with the lights off.
You know, Todd got a bat cave. He leave and he goes to his mansion and he got a mansion in the suburbs he don't be telling us about. Todd probably got a ranch and everything. Hey y'all, Madigan. No, y'all think I got a fixation. But apparently last night was not. People, if you were to read the headlines up to yesterday, people were proclaiming, not downstates, but Springfield insiders were claiming that the speaker was stronger than ever. He had raised over $22 million, spent $10 million trying to increase his power in Springfield. But apparently, after some tremendous, he apparently has a net loss now of 2 seats. Now, that's not earth-shattering. Mm-hmm. It won't destroy their supermajority. But what it does show is that even after, and I think part of what he was trying to do was the display of strength to buttress himself for the upcoming veto session, which, by the way, I'm hearing is being delayed because the Black Caucus is still trying to put their agenda together. Okay, so y'all understand that this election was the opportunity for the speaker to cement the fact that he was invincible, right? If he was able to add to his supermajority in the face of all of the federal crimes, raise record amounts of money, it would bode well for him going into veto session that there probably would be no significant challenge to his power. Mm. Now, understanding that, combined with the failure of JB's, the failure of Justice Kilbride, who was closely associated and was painted as Madigan's judge, which the Republicans look to as their hope is into changing what's going on in Illinois, is by controlling the Supreme Court. And then you add to that the fact that the fair tax was lost.
Oh, that's over with, huh?
That's pretty much a done deal. Which he helped J.B. Pritzker pass, but again, if you think about the woes of Springfield, what the rejection of the fair tax meant was a repudiation of people trusting Springfield with their money. And who is Springfield? Over the last 40 years, what we have come to recognize is, for as powerful as the speaker is, he has destroyed the state economically, right? And I think that essentially, while I do think that I would hate to have to explain how I had $50 million budget and blew it. But that's because you didn't hire nobody black from Chicago or Illinois. You hired a black guy from Georgia to tell us why we should pay more taxes. Not knowing, obviously, clearly not taking into fact that we all know that we are not, and our state of affairs is not just because of the pandemic. It is because, if you think about, again, part of the reason that we are in such financial straits is because our collective wealth has been used for Madigan's personal gain.
Come on.
Think about the fact that 25% of all the downtown skyscrapers he represents and gets them property tax cuts, of which he gets a cut of. And so now you are now telling me that we want to give this guy the power to tax us again? No. And you can tell me about people getting their jobs cut, but realistically, most of them, Illinois is not employed by the state. And yes, we will miss the services, but right now people are kind of like, man, now you got to show me something. You can't
let me get something tangible.
Right. You can't mess with I always say, if you can't mess with little money, you can't mess with big money. So you have so the common denominator in driving the state into ground is the passing of all of these tax policies and benefits that have come to finally bear upon us. And they have all of it can be tied to Springfield. Now, it leads me to ask, if you are now a state rep, if you are now J.B. Pritzker, who your entire first year in office is now going to be unwound because you built your balanced budget on passing this fair tax. It does not pass, so now the revenue that you promised for next year is not there. Now the question becomes, if you are JB, do you hit your star to Madigan, who seems to be a sinking proposition, and do you go after the legislature directly? We saw JB go after the legislature directly when he went with we saw JB go after the legislature directly when he involved himself in the state Senate president race when he backed Kimberly Lightfoot, which really pushed a lot of Democrats away because the Senate Dems like to be independent. They don't want nobody to be told. But, for a black person to be able to win a spot like that, they're going to need the backing of somebody either wealthy or labor because they're not going to have the money to marshal the resources. So now you got to say, if you're the governor and you are willing to spend $50 million to lose, and now you got to come back to this legislature who is going to be gun shy about really doing what because the whole state just said we ain't taking the tax increase.
Okay, I'm following you.
So now if I am J.B. Pritzker, I've been playing the back because I don't want to step on the speaker's toes. But now I'm seeing that the speaker, the wizard is being exposed. He spent $10 million. He still wound up losing 2 seats. He's not invincible. So now if you think about if he was willing to spend $50 million, if he put $1 million in every black state rep and state senator's campaign, right? He could spend $160 million and donate $100. I mean, he really only needs 62. What he needs to do what he needs to do to change the taxes and do it. He really could buy it himself. So my question now is the speaker is he a liability now? Like, for black people, I think white folks we saw already were recognizing that he was a liability. Black folks believe that the money and the mystique would be enough always to save them. We see that maybe in this case it was not. So now you got to wonder, if I'm the speaker, if President Trump becomes is reelected, then you can probably guess that there will be no federal help coming. So now if you're J.B. Pritzker, you got to say, do I need to be kissing? How many butts do I need to kiss? When I got the most money and power and the guy that, because now if I'm J.B. Pritzker right now, I'm on the phone with every black legislator. Right now. I'm on the phone with every black legislator saying, look, man, you see the handwriting on the wall with the speaker. Where you going to be? Come to my camp, come to my tent, and I got you. You see, I just dropped $52 million and we wasted that. Now you got to ask yourself, because the speaker's got to be thinking to himself, my members are watching. Now, and you got to also recognize that J.B. Pritzker, after the people have physically voted that they do not want you to raise their taxes, and knowing that when you go back into your next session, you will be gathering petitions the following fall. Do you subsequently raise taxes on Illinoisans? Well, if you had the speaker could make you do it.
Now, I thought that Governor Pritzker said that if this graduated income tax did not pass, that he was going to have to make some cuts.
He can't cut all that. And if he does cut it, let me tell you, he's between a rock and a hard place. Because if he makes the cuts, then he risks his poll numbers have already fallen because he shut down the restaurants. He risks falling below. Remember, he's still trying to run for president. Got to keep that presidential. So all of this stuff that he's trying to do, all these tricks, he wants to get them done and then get out and be the president. And when it all comes crashing, y'all don't want to hear me. Y'all don't want to hear me. Y'all don't really want to understand. But now the Game of Thrones, because now what we got to look at is what happens in this legislative veto session. See, if it's me, I'm planting the seeds of mutiny right now. The speaker lost 2 seats, guys. What's going to be next? Because you saw Ken Griffin was willing to put in 50. If Ken Griffin then says, I'm going to be the new Bruce Rauner, right? Jim Durkin just proved that with some money, they got the Supreme Court and they picked up 2 seats. Now you find you a new wealthy billionaire. You take all the millions of dollars and you pound every legislator. See, everybody, big bank tank, little bank. And now you got to start asking, if you're a contributor to Madigan, are you now putting your money in a hole?
He's basically, have I ran this train as far as I can take it?
Exactly. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. When we come back, we are going to talk about this election. The presidential. I want to know what's going on, what y'all thinking, what's going to happen. I think President Trump declared himself the winner last night. And I don't know how, if this thing makes it to court, he loses. But we'll talk about it more when we come back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of fraternities that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
Maze Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like Maze said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we about 60 years old. I be done had a heart attack.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
Yeah. All right. right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah?
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
How about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwakil's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. Right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
What's in it for the black people? Cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to last, can't doze no more. I told y'all this, that dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies of the politicians. We need money, no symbolism. It's Maze and Sonia and Ruthie and Todd explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we're united, our movement gon' start. They ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressor to solve us.
What's in it for the black people? All the lies we didn't heard before. Time to pay attention, you gotta do more than listen. Need some action with it on the count of 3. Let's go.
Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore, in the building.
Is this why they say politics is a blood sport?
Who is they? I think I say that.
I ain't want to just say your name like
Just
that.
like, you know, politics is a blood sport. Yeah, I do think it is a blood sport. I think, depending on where you come from. In Chicago, it is bloody, but it's getting, it's watered down. It is watery now. It's like there's not a lot of rivalries. There's not
It's
a
like
lot
the
of,
new NBA, as you would
yeah,
say.
it's like they just, what is it? They get over the 3-point line and just throw it up. Nobody is out trying to win precincts. Like nobody's trying to be like, there's no competition among precinct captains to be like how many votes they turn in. So I think the game is all watered down. All right, but I want to talk about what's going to happen today. It looks like right now we are at a standstill. We are saying that it is 238 to 213. Joe Biden. We still have Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia out. Wisconsin is now showing Joe Biden up by 1 point. Michigan is showing it's not yet called, but it is with 94% of the vote. They are saying that Joe Biden is up by 0.2% of a percentage. I think Democrats pull out Georgia. I know that they're trying to say they're holding out around Fulton County, in the suburbs around there, but I do think Democrats pull out Georgia. I don't think you can. If they won Florida, I think they'll win Georgia. We saw the same thing with Stacey. Stacey. What was her name? Abrams. Yeah. They are showing Pennsylvania leaning towards Trump, but there are 2.5 million mail-in ballots out. Ruthie, Last night, President Trump declared victory.
He did.
From the White House.
Live from Twitter.
And I don't think at this point they're going to be able to wrest the election away from him.
What do you mean by that?
I think there's too much space and opportunity.
Okay.
Between now and election. There's too much space and opportunity between now and the time that these votes get counted. Last night, I saw a story. If you watch President Trump, he laid out the narrative in advance. So last night in Georgia, they pulled up all the workers and said, we're through counting for the night. With less than 2% of the votes to be counted, and they said that it was outside of Georgia, right? The suburbs outside of Georgia, which are heavily black populated. That's where the votes are. Now, I'm going to say, the first thing that now let me just say this. I used this analogy earlier. If you sign up to be to do election night, you know that is a commitment that is going to go past 8:00. The counters, you should have prepared your counters for it, because anything that happens between last night and tonight, I'm going to call foul. I'm going to say foul. If it does not go my way, foul. Donald Trump said last night, why do they want to stop counting tonight? Finish counting everything that we got. Why would you make me wait until tomorrow so you could go find out how many votes you need to go get? Now, if you think about that, it sounds crazy on our side of the line, but to somebody on the other side of the line, it sounds completely logical. With the stakes that are in, and so now, if I'm Trump, I already got a lawyer in court suing to say, if you stop the count, I don't want nothing else counted after that. Yeah. These 2 million ballots that are out in Philadelphia that people are holding out for, my concern is that if any of this, if this thing is close without a whooping, I don't believe that I believe that Donald Trump will stretch this to the limits of the Constitution.
He's going to exploit every crack, crevice, loophole, every single one. So you are spot on with that, Maze. And that's what he's doing. He's setting it up right now.
So, and he is going to, in my estimation, he is going to, he counts on socially awkward situations. People who are not afraid to take advantage of socially awkward situations tend to come out on top. Right? Like if they are an abuser or they are a power broker, you expect you expect some humane behavior.
Psh, ain't no civility in this no more. I think Trump is speaking to his base though. Like when he's declaring himself like the victor, he's speaking to his base to rally them up. Because remember, he already told them to stand by. So now he has to kind of like keep them energized. So I think it's all a part of the plan.
What do you think happens? Do you think Trump pulls this thing out, or do you think Joe Biden can pull it out? I am looking at this map, and it just seems very daunting. Because what this map proves to me is that white people gone white. I also think that this map, if Donald Trump wins, well, let me back up. First of all, how did we get here? How did this thing get so close? Because I think that everybody expected there to be a runaway Joe Biden.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I think that we were all hoping. But, I mean, black men, y'all ain't come out enough.
What?
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I think we all, I truly do think that, I think you might have said that I thought the pandemic would pull the Dems through, but like you said, the economy likely is what kind of is pushing this red because, you know, with all these shutdowns and protocols, people ain't making no money.
What did they say before? It's the economy, stupid. I guess we got to start asking these questions. So, do you think Democrats had false hopes when they thought places like Texas was going to flip?
I think it's interesting that within politics you need money to make certain things move, but at the end of the day, you can throw as much money as you want against something. And I think that this has shown us that yes, there is like money. There's a role for money within politics, but maybe it ain't all it's cracked up to be at the end of it.
Her saying, yeah. What does this mean for us in Illinois if Trump wins?
According to our leaders, according to the mayor, we screwed. According to Governor J.B. Pritzker, we screwed because we were waiting on federal help. A lot of these plans were hinged upon federal help, but you know what? They did show us what those plans would look like or how they would need to be enacted in the absence of federal help. So maybe we need to go back and revisit them. But I don't think we really want to look at those budgets and those numbers cuts without that federal infusion.
Have they done us this? Have our elected officials in Illinois done us a service? A disservice by their relationship, by putting all of our chips in what could potentially be the wrong barrel? Like, I guess, you know, and will they blame the next 4 years on Donald Trump?
Ooh. You know what's interesting, Maze? I really don't even know what America looks like for another 4 years under Donald Trump.
What do you mean?
I'm
going to make you all work.
I just don't know. Like, we in the middle of a pandemic.
What pandemic? He said it's over today. The pandemic is over today. He said, Jay, go ahead, nothing else about it. You think you're going to fire Fauci today? Let me ask you a question. Where does this actually leave us if Donald Trump is to win? This thing keeps playing in my head. Sonia, go to the clip.
And I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words. It begins with F and it ends with U.
I mean, I still think that energy is alive and well.
Right, as we die. I mean, I think that it is my estimation that we have got to figure our way out of this. Like, I don't know if we can, you know, I think that we have had lazy politics for the last, it was blame it on Bush. Then we had hope with Obama. Then we blamed everything was Trump. What do we do next? How do we move forward? Because politically we know that I can already see the Democrats gearing up for 4 more years of Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. But we just heard in Illinois that for the last 10 years, we've gotten nothing. I don't know if we got the right people charting our course. Let's talk about it when we come back. But play that clip again, because I really do want to know how that's going to work out. This is the mayor to the president, potentially president-elect, re-elect.
And I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words. It begins with F and it ends with U.
Let's just take a break and we'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break. Maze Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like Maze said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. I be done had a heart
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah.
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
About National Join a Positive Black Organization Day, because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth. Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
WIFTBPM.
I think that the black community is starting to realize the mayor may not necessarily be an ally just because she is black.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
Our representatives don't necessarily get a pass just because they're black. We've got a challenge in the black part of Chicago of holding black politicians accountable.
You're listening to The Maze Jackson Show.
This is Chicago, so I understand the Chicago way. I ask every day what's in it for the black people.
With Maze Jackson.
Come on, y'all.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore. Somebody send out the search team for our guy, Todd. It's not like Todd not to send us a text. He is probably wrapped up. He is like, he's looking at the TV like, come on, Uncle Joe, you can do it.
He recounting the votes.
He is recounting on his own phone. All right, y'all. I want to know, how did Donald Trump get to where he is in this race? Who are the groups that you think that turned out for Trump?
Trump rode in on that I'm not a politician wave.
Still though, like
he still doesn't call himself a politician. And he rode in on that wave. And I think one thing that I kind of was always thinking about was just the excitement that people had around Trump as their candidate, or still do have around Trump as their candidate. And that excitement is what is really driving we call it the Trump train.
Well, it seems like people are starting to say that it doesn't look good for Trump.
Okay.
That he could potentially lose this. I don't know.
How?
I don't know if there's going to be I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. This thing could get that because there's 2 million votes out still in Philadelphia. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing goes. Ruthie, do you think that Trump If this thing, do you think this thing goes to court?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Do you think it makes it to the Supreme Court?
If it does, I know they've been trying
That's
to.
the plan.
Exactly, right?
Lord, EB.
They legit. They play chess.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you think they can appeal to humanity? The humanity
a funny
of
question.
Do you think they can appeal to the humanity of people though?
No. See, I think at some point in America we had this thing called civility, and that is where you take your Robert's Rules of Orders and you follow it. But in a post-Trump presidency, the civil approach, it don't quite work. So that old way of doing things is out. And so now it is, I feel like as we move forward in America, it is going to be normal for the president to be up at midnight talking about they won. Like, this is so like absurd, but it's like normal now. And so I think the civility that we used to kind of hang our hats on as Americans and how we can police the world because we have all this pomp and circumstance, I think all that's gone.
I think you're 100% full of shit, is what I think.
Yeah, it's no civility. It's over with. And I mean, I think now moving forward, I'm looking to candidates that's gonna take the gloves off. I don't want nobody that can't take that tie off.
Really?
I think that's what I feel.
So you like the dissent? That's the dissent.
When the system so the people who really ushered in Trump is like they feel their America getting away from them, or what they have known to be America is slipping away. And even though we know that some of it is a lot of it is based in just like manufactured ideology, you know what I'm saying? Like we get that, but I don't blame the white people for feeling some type of way. Like, they have hung their hats on this idea of America being this way for so long, and the thought of having to give up this thing that they created, I feel like it is enough for them to shed blood. And that's what they're showing us. We will shed blood.
Blood and soil.
Blood and soil, and you know who will not replace us. That's what they said. That's
Where
what
do
they
we
said.
fit in that? Where do we fit in that?
Dang, that's gloomy.
You know something that Todd said one day, and I wish he was here to talk more
Trump's
about
lead
it.
in Philadelphia is shrinking.
Philly?
In Pennsylvania is shrinking.
Wisconsin's so close to.
Wisconsin is now, Joe Biden leads by 1 point, and in Michigan, Joe Biden leads by 0.4 of a point.
Todd said that the real target is Jewish people, and that and Todd said they don't care about you black people. And so I think that is an interesting perspective when you ask, like, where do black people fit in with all this? And so the answer is not really anywhere, for real. Some of this is our fight, but it really ain't our fight. But they kind of need us to kind of help with the fight. So again, the house is on fire, and they need black people to either pour the gas on it or try to put the fire out. And so black people, we are always used. We are used.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, 2033. Yeah, this thing is getting ready to get real hairy.
You see these numbers?
These numbers are the Michigan and Wisconsin thing. So I got to see where these votes are left in Wisconsin. What parts of the... Lordy B. This is literally, they are... Trump is not looking good. And wait a minute. Hold on. Blue, red, what's not reported? Portage County, 100%. Okay, Milwaukee is still... Milwaukee is still out. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Milwaukee County is still out. Joe Biden is leading by 40 points there. So it is going to be the urban centers that probably, if Joe Biden is able to pull it out, is where they will come from. Look, y'all. This is going to be a barnstormer. Now, do you think, what do you think happens, though? Like, if this thing changes and it swings, how does Trump play it?
He already said he won.
Yeah, the Supreme Court. Shut it down.
You think that
Trump is not going without some type of
shenanigans?
I mean, he like legit. He has to keep rallying up his base.
What does that mean? What does that mean for the rest of us? What does that mean for the rest of us? Goodness gracious. Whew. Ruthie, they were out in front of the White House last night. I saw the city trucks rolling around. Do you think that there is a potential for unrest if he doesn't go? If he doesn't accept a loss?
Yes.
He has to.
I think people are looking for a reason to hit the streets. Really, I think they are. People are looking for a reason to hit the streets. And
what people?
People tired of being in the house. So if you can't go out socially, then you know what, we gonna turn this unrest into some socialness. I think people just literally want to get out the house for something. They want to feel like they are a part of America. So I think the next arm to voting, you saw how you call it suppression. Some people call it enthusiasm.
It depends on what state you're in.
That's what. So I think we're gonna feel that same energy. Are people gonna hit the streets to say Trump actually won? Then you're gonna have the counter protesters like, no, Trump didn't win. People are literally looking for a reason to have unrest. I think.
I'm not going outside by myself.
This is the perfect reason.
Where we gonna be? Broadcasting live.
I'll be broadcasting live.
I'm gonna get a drone and I'm gonna tell you what's going
on.
Send it to us, to our Instagram, to our Facebook. Look, when we come back, I want to talk about what's next for Black people. We have spent the last last year at least, back and forth at each other trying to figure out what's going on. What are the key learnings from this election? What are we saying? What do we need to know? What do we need to do? If Joe Biden pulls this out because of Black folks, what do we need to do? And if Donald Trump is reelected, where do we go? What is next for Black people in this electoral process? We'll talk about it more when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your Black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us. Mm-hmm. However, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays, starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show.
listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Miss Ruthie Moore, Sonia Escobar in the building. Todd, no call, no show. It's okay though. We gonna understand.
He got to get something in his personnel file for that.
He do. I'm gonna put him a note in his paycheck envelope.
No overtime for him.
No overtime for you, Todd. Matter of fact, I'm gonna double your pay. That's what I'm gonna do.
There you go.
All right, y'all. What's next? This election, I would like to, after this election, I really would like black folks to stop allowing Democrat or Republican to be a demarcation between us. Like, no matter who you supported in this election at this point, they basically told you, they either gave you a line of some BS or they told you to wait and see. And I think it is counterproductive for us as black folks to keep aligning ourselves around two parties, neither of which value or respect our contribution to the country or to their respective collective wealth. And so I really want to know what's next. I want to know, what did we learn from this election? I was so ready for this election to be over because so many people was cursing and snapping and going crazy on social. Yeah. And canceling people, and you're no longer my friend for life if you could possibly consider. And now here we wake up the day after and we don't know who. So what are we going to do?
Have black women and black men fighting?
That ain't new. They've been doing that since y'all got out the kitchen.
Here you go.
Told you, Ruthie, y'all fix this whole thing. Everybody just get back to the natural order things. Y'all get the kitchen. We'll get the lawn. Things will be all right. But
y'all better bring groceries.
Thank you, Sonia.
I'm all good. I grocery shop every week. Right at the store, right down the aisle.
Organic.
That too. I tell you, I get the bags, the biodegradable bags too. Don't play with me.
I want the big shrimp.
Well, you know what? Seafood mess with our gout. My gout, so I don't know seafood. But first of all, I do the big shrimp with the head on, and then I personally detach them. Be the man. But you gotta learn how to take to rip the head off, and then it's all the brains in there that's got like a whole gooey, salty thing going on.
Oh, you like?
Yep, sort of like crawfish. So I guess my question now is, where do we go as black people here?
Man, we don't know. We lost.
I mean, are we? So now that we have canceled, we have cursed out everybody. Now can we put together a contract with Black America? Is that okay? Now? Is the timing right now? No, seriously. All of the things that you were mad about during the election time that people couldn't do, well, now it's over. So where does that leave us? Are we better? Do we have a better plan forward as Democrats? Do we have a plan forward for if the Republicans win? Where do we fit into this whole equation? Because here's my thing. I really don't like the fact that we as black folks are arguing over two racist white dudes. Like, really the negotiation is, my white dude is less racist than your white dude. My white dude does his racism with more tact. When do we get out of the business of negotiating against ourselves? Seriously. What's next for black people politically? You saw here in Illinois, white boys did it again. They stuck it to Kim Foxx. They tried to. What's next for us in Illinois politics? Let's back up from President Trump. Let's talk about, now that we know what we know with all of the corruption, knowing that we did not get any piece of the cannabis business, that Illinoisans, beyond just us on this show have rejected the policies of the last 40 years, where do we as black people go? Knowing that in this COVID-19 we have died at an alarming rate, and then our elected officials in the midst of that tell us that they didn't realize that things hadn't changed in the last 10 years. Where do we go now? Like, is the Democratic Party working for us in Illinois? We're not going to get the Willie Wilson party, it looks like. So for many of you who were like, you wouldn't vote for Willie and you thought he was, what now? What will Dick Durbin, what shall we say to Dick Durbin? Dick Durbin's going to make a couple people some dollars, but realistically, what has been Dick Durbin's economic impact? Where are we going next?
Has to be inward.
How many people did you curse out over this election? How many hours did you spend trying to convince or to cajole or to get someone to vote for something that right now on the back end we have nothing from either side? How many relationships did you put on the line, and for what? Now, in the event that you have delivered for the Democrats, do black Illinoisans even have the right to expect anything? And if so, who is the people that are going to carry you? You went to vote for Joe Biden. Where is your interest represented? What is next? What is next, y'all? What's going on out there?
It seems to be like a matter of we got to be proactive instead of reactionary.
Right. So I guess my question is, what are we proactively being? Who's on that? Because again, I just want y'all to understand that right now, like, there are going to be Democrats that are celebrating. Like, I was watching think about all of the state reps and state senators that ran unopposed. Yes? They were all congratulating and thanking everybody who voted for them, but now what? Now what? You got to ask yourself, are we going to be back? You have just found out that the speaker, with $10 million spent, the magic is wearing off. Who is planning for our future?
So Illinois, we complain, but the same people get voted back in.
Well, I'm gonna say apparently not Lauren Underwood.
How does that look?
That looks like Lauren Underwood is so close. They're separated by 1,000 votes, a little less than 1,000 votes.
That's wild.
Jim Oberweis is up though, but with 1,000 votes in a congressional race, looks like that's gonna be a problem. I guess you all have to ask yourself, now that you voted, now that we're pretty much done, whether it's Joe Biden, whether it's Donald Trump, there's nothing else we can do except wait for the outcome. Now my question becomes, now what? What do we have? For those of you, if Joe Biden wins, when is the meeting? Is it before he takes office? And who's going? So are our interests now in the hands of Jeezy and Jermaine Dupri? Or are they in the name of Weezy and Ice Cube? See how that works right there? Where we at? Who are our policy leaders, our thought leaders? We spent so much time in the game, and I'm going to say we may have elected Joe Biden president. And in the event that we have elected Joe Biden president, who is the accountability man?
We always have to keep going back to, we got to unify. And how do we do that? What does that look like?
Well, I think the key is that they don't want they want you to bring you Jeezy. They want to bring you rappers and people who they can easily show a benefit to. Because if you don't really understand the intricacies of the benefit, you could get you a community center. White boys always give you a community center to go back in the hood. But will that community center is what? Another free fish. It's not a revenue generator. The white guys that are donating tens of millions of dollars, bundling millions of dollars, is not for nonprofit. Yeah, I just got a question. Where do black people go? I'm first in the nation, because I think about all of the fighting and all of the infighting and all of the back and forth between black people over two wealthy white men. Two wealthy white landowners. Two people who could have purchased and owned slaves in a different life, in a different time. That is our argument with each other, over each other. Now that we don't have the white men to argue over, what are we going to be fighting for going forward? Think about it, y'all. Tia Maxine says she'll never forgive anybody who voted for Trump. And she talking to black people. Think about that.
That's cold-blooded, man.
I think as black people, we're going to have to be more okay with crossing party lines. Because white people do it unashamedly for their self-interest. And I think we have to be okay with having black be our self-interest. What do we want as black people? Do we want to rally around reparations? What is our rallying cry? Like right now,
what's in it for the black people? All the lies we done heard. Don't make me be Mike Brown. I can't start singing on the show like that. Hey, mate. So I guess, like right now,
we need a do-over.
Now, I mean, because think about this. What's going to happen to Brendan Riley?
Something.
No, it ain't.
He gonna go to
Y'all ain't going to do nothing.
Something is going to happen.
Y'all ain't finna do that.
That's way too egregious. That is way too egregious,
Y'all ain't finna do nothing. Y'all ain't. What more key? Ain't nothing going to happen.
You ain't about to come. No. Kim Foxx.
Ain't nothing going to happen.
Miss Kim Foxx.
Ain't nothing going to happen. Somebody, what would be hilarious is if Kim open up an investigation on the basement of the Boss Bar?
Oh, that's too much.
I'm just saying.
Something is going to happen. If nothing happens to Brendan Riley, then that will truly be the litmus test for the state of black Illinoisans.
Nah, that's like hit me again.
Oh, Maze.
That's like hit me again.
Yeah,
I bet you won't hit me. Bet you won't hit me again.
But this is the one time. But this is the one time when they gonna stick their hand out and say, "Baddest person hit my hand," and then somebody that's what's about to happen. Just watch, my brother. This is a different time we're living in.
But it's the same people.
No, they feel you right.
We talk about it more when we come back to wrap this thing up.
AM 1570 WBGX Harvey, Chicago.
WIFTV PM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwakil's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
What's up, good people? This is Herb Howard, one half of I Said What I Said. Make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on What's In It for the Black People Media. It is intellectual thuggery at its finest. The Blackest Conversation, Herb Howard, Tucson Warner, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on What's In It for the Black People Media. 1 to 3 p.m.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Ruthie Moore, Sonia Escobar. Ruthie, you gotta tell Sonia to stop playing that, because it's gonna have
It's
me
like a
trying
little
to
island
go.
vibe.
Right, I keep
Yeah,
trying to tell you we're gonna be broadcasting live from Jamaica, man.
Too much tension.
Hey man, we got to get out the field. Everything Irie, man. I need to get on the beach. My cousin say, "Hey Miss, I got the wee Bob Marley smoke." I was like, "You gotta get past that to my cousin." He said, "Take two before you hand it to me." Hey y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Ruthie Moore, Sonia Escobar, Todd Stroger, feeling a little under the sleep.
Under the blankets.
Under the blankets. So how does this thing work? I really just gotta know. I gotta know. What's next for black people? Will we learn from this? Like, I really just hope that at the end of this election,
We too forgiving.
there's not a point in which I hope that at the end of this election, there's not a point in which we recognize that we really are not getting very much out of voting, and we need to have a demand. Ruthie, before we get out of here, because you know we're pretty heavy social, what are the people saying? Anybody talking to you? What they've been saying?
Whole lot. You know, I think one thing that Richard said is to help people, you got to love black people in front of white people. And I think that's the kick. That's the key right there. Is to be unapologetically black. To be unapologetically in favor of black interests. To be okay with unifying around certain things. And we have to be willing and unafraid to do that in front of white folks.
Yeah, I know y'all can't be doing that in front of white people. You know, you got to act. You got to be on your P's and Q's. I think we need to start acting a fool. Like,
you mean we got to get the civility out of it?
I do. No, I think you could do it eloquently. Right? But I do think you can put the smack on. I really think that we need to stop letting transgressions go. Because they will punish. Do you understand what the punishment for a black person would be to side with a Republican against Kim Foxx? What the white boys would the white boys who would be on the same team with you would be bringing you to get whooped while you doing the same thing they do.
Your head would be on a stake at the boundary line. So as an example, to anybody else that's coming in, they're going to see your head right there on that stake.
Whose responsibility is it to stand up for Kim Foxx? Is it the black female elected officials? Is it the black male elected officials? Or should they come together as a whole? Or should they, because right now, do you think they, I never did see a press conference. Do you think that they kind of try to, I always feel like the black elected officials try to look the other way and be like, did you see that? Nope, I didn't see it. You didn't see it? Nope, I didn't see it.
What you talking about?
Right. It's like, and then Brendan, when they running for office, boy, if I told you the story of how he played Carrie, because of me, I really, and it's like, they don't care, they could just be disrespectful and all type of stuff.
That's the thing, this is the
And
disrespect.
Right, it's the disrespect. And it's like, but here's my thing. People watched it. People sat by and didn't say nothing. They ain't check them. I can't be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thing. I'm tired of us being tough talking and then be like, I'll be tough. Now be quiet. And then when they come around, I'll be talking again.
See, you got to be willing to do it in front of white folks. That's how you know who really scared or who really ain't scared. Cause it's easy to sit in the barbershop. It's easy to sit around the dinner table. But when you in that boardroom, how does your rhetoric change? You can eloquently advocate for black people.
I do it all the time.
I wish more black people would unashamedly do it.
I sit on the board of directors of an organization. And I'm going to be honest with you. There have been times when I have had to force myself to ask about black opportunities for people. And it is sometimes intimidating sitting at a boardroom with big numbers and big pieces of paper, and somebody can, they may know a little bit more than you, but you know that this all adds up to zero anything for black people. And you have to say something. I think one of the challenges that I feel like we've got right now is the black person in the room assumes that if they are taking care of them, black people are taken care of. It reminds me of the rapper Talking Crazy the other day. The key is to go in the room, make sure you get yours, but bring something back. Like, I don't think anybody begrudges you if you're in the business of trying to do business. But don't do the business on the back of black people and then have nothing to return or bring back to the village.
Come on now.
Put a turkey in the pot. And I think that is where we as black people collectively don't get it. We don't get that when they do it to one of us, and you don't step up, they're going to do it to the next person that gets out of line. And what is out of line? To be letting black people out of jail who were wrongfully convicted.
Children.
Right.
It takes some chutzpah to be able to sit in
chutzpah
to be able to advocate for the. But it's a conscious effort though. Like, you have to put forth a conscious effort to advocate. Like, you legit have to put forth a conscious effort, and sometimes you got to go out on a limb. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when you unapologetically advocate for black people, you got to take L's. You might have to take some L's, whether that be from black people, the same black people you advocating for.
Oh God,
and that's hard. That's a hard.
I'm gonna
that's
tell
a hard
you,
feeling.
black people that you advocate for, always try. Once you advocate for them, a lot of times they try to pretend like you didn't help them get there. But you know what? What I've come to recognize is can't nobody stop what's for me. Like, so you could do everything you want to do. You could try. You could do all those different things. But I do believe that what God got for you, God got for you. Ruthie, the president declared that he won, but it has not been, there's still votes out. What are your thoughts? Do you think, tomorrow, when do the people get out in the streets? Next week?
This was way too close. This was much closer than I could have predicted, and now I don't know. So when do the people hit the streets? Do they hit the streets?
Man, I hope they just don't hit no black people when they get in the streets. That's my concern. Look, y'all. To the black elected officials, to the black guys in the streets, to the black spiritual community, to the black people in education, and to the black people in business. The election is over. Black men, get ready, because we need to talk. Like, real talk, we need to talk. This Kim Foxx thing is only one more example of why we as black men need to. There should have been a black men response to Brendan Riley. A black men response from all the black men who are incarcerated, who are locked up, who were victims of Pat O'Brien and the Pat O'Briens. There should have been a response from black men. There should have been a response from black men to white Irishmen who was willing to throw everything and all of the gains that we have made over the last 5 years. Y'all heard the story of the Rossetti Four right here on this show. Think about the white guy that sits amongst us at the Democratic meetings, that black people have to stand up and present themselves and present their credentials to him, knowing that at any moment he could go out the back door and be on the Republican team. There has to be a consequence for offending black people. There has to be. There just has to be. And I just think that we are so easy to turn on each other that we got to figure out a way forward. Look, my name is Maze Jackson. For Ruthie Moore, for Sonia Escobar, for my co-host Todd Stroger, who is not here, I am asking the question every single day, what's in it for the black people? Now, let me tell y'all, check me out on Foxx 32. Check out the Book of Dawn, but also check me out on Foxx 32 at 9:10 this morning. I'm going to be giving some commentary. But for all of us right here on the Maze Jackson page, on the Maze Jackson Show, I am the host asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
What's in it for the black people? What's in it? What's in it for the black people? I'm in it. What's in it for the black people? What's in it? What's in it for the black people? I'm in it. For the black